not be with us this evening. So to start, we'll move right into our public comments on agenda items, if anybody has anything. Okay, if not, then we'll move into our announcements and updates. We were trying to schedule a quarterly budget for our A-Fund review in sewer and water, but we postponed until October 6th. So that'll be done that particular evening at 7 o'clock. Taft Elementary School, we did apply for a couple of grants through Orange County. We did receive over the last 2 years monies for the majority of the purchase of the new solar crosswalks lights that are up at Taft School. And I'd like to thank our police department and our DPW for the installation, and and also from Orange County legislators, Kathy Stiganga was our representative who talked to us about the grants, and we applied, and she was able to get that to happen for us. So those lights, the warning lights were basically, again, from those monies we received from the county. So we'll probably, Christie, if you don't mind making a note that we can send her a thank you, and to whoever the need is at the moment. Who that is at the moment, but in a very short way, I think we're going to be saving about less than $10 a month on electric, because that's what those things were costing over the years to operate individually. I think it was about $3 and change. Obviously, everything goes up, and I think we're in the neighborhood of $8 or $9 for those two lights that were on electric at one point, and one has been down on the southern end of Tolman. Not sure exactly what happened to it, but it's been missing for a number of years, so it's all back in service, so to protect the kids and our crossing guards. Just an update on the North Street drainage and pavement work. Obviously, it's underway. We're in just beyond, I think, week 2. Drainage work has been replaced up to almost Brotherhood Winery. Curbs and sidewalks are currently underway as well. So good progress is being made there. There's a number of small modifications that needed to be made. Some more sidewalks needed to come out, and some of the drainage, when it was removed, was really too close or near the curb line, so we did lose a number of linear feet of curbs that need to be replaced. Those calculations and figuring where the drainage pipes were in relation to the curbs and sidewalk, we did budget for that, so it's not that we're not going to stay within our budget, and we're working very hard to do that. So the contractor, ATEC, has indicated that they probably, at the pace they're going, they estimate it was a 4-week replacement, and then after that, we'll have Ward, who has the state bid, come in and do the milling and paving right after that. So we're really looking forward to that. And to thank everybody for the rerouting, but in some small ways, I think the traffic not coming down to 94 from North Street has helped in a small way, because I'm driving by there and traffic seems to be flowing a little bit easier, because when you're coming down north, of people are trying to make a left and a right, it's bedlam, but I think overall it's a little bit better. So, but again, thanking everybody for their patience and cooperation while we're going through that. And at the same time, we're looking at Bristol Court and Potomac Court for redoing curbs and driveway entrances, and also looking at paving those 2 cul-de-sacs. Puritan Lane, there's a number of individuals on that street who are trying to have their driveways paved, but the aprons are in really bad shape, so we'll also be in the process of replacing those. ATEC, the contractor, will be handling that work as well. And then we have a number of individual driveways throughout the village itself, might be a number of 10 to 15, that our DPW crew will be managing and starting to replace those curbs variously all over the village. So again, work is continuing there. Let's see, for the Department of Public Works, we had installed a new fence, gate, and within probably a week's time, that gate got banged by a visiting truck and bent it, and it just recently got replaced and repaired. And the company that hit the gate is paying for the replacement of that gate. So that's moving on there. Also, we putting our toe in the water for music at our Vern Allen Park. As you know, on the 13th, we had a band that was kind of a karaoke type band. Maybe 80 to 100-ish, some give or take, people at the event. We had a couple of food trucks there. So we're just testing the waters and seeing how this goes, and we're gonna have a band there next Saturday on the 20th, same time, 5 to 8, and a band on the 27th for basically the same time. The band that I know that's gonna be there on the 27th is a Pink Floyd cover band, so they're supposed to be really, really good, got a big following, so hopefully, you know, the next couple of weeks, people will enjoy the entertainment, and then we're gonna be looking at potentially carrying this into, you know, summertime of next year. We'll keep you in the loop on that. Update on the Village Hall second floor structural question. So, we're trying to determine if we could utilize the second floor, and because it was told to us that, you know, it'd be a good idea to have a structural engineer take a look at that. And in doing so, we had a structural engineer come in, we gave him the plans to the building, and we were working with them for a good part of a day, and then the structural guy basically said, well, we need to do more work because this is an inconclusive report. And so we said, what does that mean? And he says, well, when I'm underneath the floor, in between the floors, what I see on the plan doesn't match what was built. So I said, oh, that's bad. So at the end of the day, they kind of indicated that 2/3 of the building is okay, 1/3 of it is what they're still questioning, potentially might not be safe for, you know, human habitat.
It was the opposite.
It's the opposite, or a third, 2/3
A
of
third
the
was good, 2/3 weren't. Where the building is.
up higher. I thought it was
Building
2/3. Okay.
department stuff.
All right,
was
so-
good.
I'll get that corrected, but at the end of the day, some of it seems to be good and part of it's not good. And each floor is 6,000 square feet. So we had some thoughts and plans that to gain some revenue of the space that's upstairs, that we would potentially rent out part of it upstairs. And the other part, we would bring our building department upstairs next to the elevator, have our building department up there with our secretaries and tables and things, give them a little bit more space as we're spreading out down here, because it is a little crowded during the day hours, which I'll report on in a little bit. So the bottom line is that the structural engineer will be back, and we'll end up doing a more detailed study based upon the drawings that we've been trying to obtain. We went back to the original engineer and architects, but they don't seem to have the plans. So, and the plans could have, if we did have them, could have been ruined and or destroyed during the 2011 floods of Floyd and Irene, when we had water in the Village Hall. So there's a number of documents and things like that that we don't really have our hands on. So we'll take it from there, we'll get this guy in the building, and if everything seems to be safe, we'll continue down that road of what I just discussed. And let's see, also we applied for a grant through Senator Scoofus' office. We'll see how that goes regarding sidewalks from our village parking lot, which is 29 West Main Street, to the park area that's being developed, which will be Stool Park. And right now, there is no sidewalk, obviously, on that side of the street. We're developing that, and this grant would pay for the sidewalk to make it safe for residents and visitors to walk down there to spend time at that park. And we plan on having some type of light music and things like that on weekends to draw people into our downtown area to utilize restaurants and shop and, you know, just to, do the good thing for our downtown businesses. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. Update on the village hall staffing. Last year we did budget a number of positions, and the board is very happy to report that we have been able to secure a deputy clerk, which has been sorely needed for many, many years, to support Christine in her endeavors, which is a full-time position. We ended up, originally we did not budget for that for Christine. We ended up having an FTE that full-time for our DPW. We basically took that DPW position and we created the deputy village clerk position. So that's really good news there. We were also able to secure a water sewer billing person from 2 part-time positions to create a full-time position. And this particular person did not need any health insurance, so it's strictly salary. And her first day was today, and really starting out really well. The other position we had budgeted for was a part-time accounting clerk. That person we hired and has been really doing a really good job. Things that just needed to get done more on a daily basis, and our treasurer is now, going to be supervising that activity, as well as then futuristic, more planning, capital projects, things like that, working with the department heads, because we have a new payroll system that was just recently implemented, so she's very busy with that. And there's still audits that need to be done in New York State reporting that needs to be completed, and she's working on all of those particular projects. So that's good news for us. A couple of months ago, we talked about water tank inspections from the Department of Health. It was a recommendation. They gave us a number of recommendations, and we've completed, I think, pretty much that whole list. We'll recap on that maybe the next meeting. But the water tank inspection is basically hiring a company, and they actually have divers that climb up the tank and they go into the tank itself, and they inspect it from the inside out. And they said we will be getting a report. There wasn't anything that was traumatic or anything to note, so the report will be forthcoming. Also, Greenlight Networks, that's that underground fiber company that we've been talking about. They're new in the area for Washingtonville and Blooming Grove, but they are making a pretty large stand throughout the county. It will be, pardon? Middletown has it. And if they're online, they'll probably be advertising. So what they're doing, they're putting above, telephone pole areas, they're putting fiber in the poles. Anywhere there's a development that has underground wiring, they will be boring with a machine, conduit, and the fiber for up the street, inside the curb, inside the right-of-way area. And they're going to be starting actually Pride's Crossing, tentative for the 19th, High Grove Drive, and Ambrose and Hopkins over in High Grove is estimated to start in October 20th. And before that, Woodfield Drive, Waterford Circle, and McLaughlin Way would be October 6th. So we'll send out messages to those neighborhoods prior to the work starting, and the contractor is also putting out flyers on the doors and notifying the homeowners if anybody has any problems with that notification process. Please let us know at the Village Hall at 845-496-3221, and we'd be glad to help you out. Also, recently with water main work that's going on North Street, we have found a number of different valves that are frozen, either can't open, can't close, or just generally stuck. And then I got into a conversation because we were finding out, and basically in any development that's built, there should be a loop. So if we were to shut off one side because of maintenance, the water can be rerouted from another area and exit, I'll say, from the north side of that development when we're shutting off the south side. We find out that what we found out so far in 2021, when Ida came through, it might have been a tropical storm, and it washed out the Bull Road Bridge, that there was a water main going across on the road. And what ended up happening, for whatever reason, that line was cut and then capped on both sides. So there's not a loop potentially on the Bull Road side and the area off at Tolman. So we are now going to investigate that, because if we ever had a problem on the south side where we needed to shut the water off, we don't want to shut off High Grove and potentially Woodfield project as well, because they would be definitely affected by that. So we're gonna reintroduce and relook at the engineering and what it would take to get those two roads connected. I don't know why it wasn't done. It should have been done, because everything was done, was hundreds of thousands of dollars, and why this was left is something that's still to be dug into. So we'll keep you updated on that as well. And I also have some, I'll call it recognition, I'm not sure if it's on your agendas out there, for our village police department. They had a call back on August 26th at 7:47 p.m. where the Washingtonville Police Department responded to a 911 call for a 46-year-old male unconscious, not breathing inside his residence. The Washingtonville police officers arrived within 2.5 minutes and found the male not breathing and without a pulse. The police department members immediately began life-saving efforts, which included CPR and the use of the PD defibrillator. After delivering the defibrillator shock, several minutes of CPR, the male regained pulse and started to breathe on his own. Because the Blooming Grove EMS was on another emergency and the ambulance was delayed, and the PD members continued to access the patient or assess the patient alone for several minutes until the arrival of the paramedics from New Windsor EMS and a second ambulance from the Blooming Grove EMS. The male patient did survive the medical condition, and that the officers will be recognized at a later date during the department's award and recognition ceremony. The officers involved were Detective Gentleman Gerstner, Officer Brian William, Sergeant Ramos, Officer Sinclair, who is working overtime on a grant for Stop DWI, as well as our Chief of Police, Chief Zaccaro, who is also working that evening on overtime on a grant. So we just are super proud of our department, super proud of these individuals and their training, and to bring somebody back. You know, I was in an EMS a long time ago, and I did that one time. Thank God it was only one, but what a feeling you get. And Chief, you know, please just send our huge thanks, and you know that they'll be recognized obviously when you have your ceremonies. But thank you again for really a great job. Anybody want to add anything?
Sure.
Yeah, Donna will just, she'll give a brief update on the building department statistics.
Just really not much to update. The 2 weeks between August 16th and the 31st, we brought in $1,725. $125 of that was fire safety. 700 was municipal searches, and 900 were permits. Probably next month, we're going to start the next round of fire safety inspections throughout the businesses in the village. We do them annually now.
Anything on the water sewer one?
Our revenues, I don't have the exact numbers for last quarter billing. We brought in approximately $360,000 total. We have installed to date over 350 of the new meters. We have 3 irrigation meters that have been installed. Yes.
Nice.
Got a lot of calls about the irrigation. For the regular homeowner who just has an outdoor spigot, it's typically not economical to do it because the cost of it would probably run a homeowner between $800 to $1,000. You're saving $8.84 per 1,000 gallons, so it could take you several years to recoup the expense on it.
just to note, we normally make a comment on our well levels. They're at 25 feet, 25 and a half feet today.
Looking good.
They're holding well. Knock on wood, get some rain. Always helps. Let's see, anything else?
We're over 200,000 in the building, right? Last time I read,
Yeah.
I think we're about 190,
We're about 214 was the last thing I saw. Yesterday.
Applications are coming in now. So.
Yeah. Alrighty, so we jump into resolutions, resolution 250143, to schedule a public hearing to be held on Monday, October 6, 2025, at 7 p.m. to consider a local law entitled Amendment to the Village Code, Sewage and Facility Rent. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Susan, I have a second.
Second.
Donna. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 401. Next, resolution 250144 to authorize the Department of Public Works Superintendent Christopher Martina to attend the DPW training conference in Lake George on October 4th, 5th, and 6th. Have a motion? Motion. Steve, have a second?
Second.
Sue. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 401. Resolution 250145 to approve public assembly permit for village residents regarding the candlelight prayer vigil for Charlie Kirk to be held on Wednesday, September 17th at the Fireman's Memorial Park from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Have a motion? Motion. Steve, second.
Second.
Sue. Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 401. Thank you. Resolution 250146 to approve the employment of Michelle Reef as a full-time deputy clerk on an annual salary of $55,000 a year. Have a motion?
Motion.
Steve. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 401. Resolution 250147 to approve the employment of Mark Spinoza as part-time account clerk at the salary of $25 per hour. Have a motion? Motion. Steve, second. Don't fight.
Second.
Thank you. Donna, any questions, comments?
Is that the water clerk?
No.
No. This is the accounting clerk.
Bookkeeper.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 401. Resolution 250148 to approve the employment of Cheryl Myers as a full-time deputy treasurer and water sewer clerk at the annual salary of $50,000. Have a motion?
That's the register.
Okay, and I was gonna ask about that too, because you mentioned it in your announcements. This says full-time deputy treasurer,
I understand.
so she's doing water?
Yes,
That's financial, she can do that,
yes.
as well as
Civil
civil,
service
by
type.
civil service.
Okay, I'm mixed up. Your title, the title is deputy treasurer.
Yes,
She's appointed as deputy treasurer. Her
Is she,
job
and it's
function-
full-time?
Right, and her job, she's deputy treasurer, right? But her job is water and sewer clerk.
For 50,000.
Yep.
Is the other treasurer staying on as well?
For right now, yes,
Is the other treasurer full-time or part-time?
part-time,
She still has
The
a
clerk-
full-time,
the
she still
clerk-
has a full-time job down in Westchester.
correct, correct. Yeah, as I mentioned, she's managing the more budget-sensitive audits, things along those lines.
Do we know what,
Where the part-time person on the ground is taking care of the invoicing and will be balancing checking accounts, all that stuff.
how many hours does the other treasurer do? The part-time treasurer?
The part-time,
The main treasurer,
20 hours.
20 hours, all right.
Okay, and a motion? No, that's what I'm asking for a motion.
Motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Steve. Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 401. Resolution 250149, to accept the UniFirst contract for the Department of Public Works clothing at a weekly cost at approximately $145 per week, reduced from $270 per week. Have a motion?
Motion.
Steve, second? Second?
Second.
Thank you, Susan. Any questions or comments? If not, then I would just like to make a comment to thank Steve for his hard work on getting the cost down and straightening out a ton of billing issues with that particular vendor, and as far as the uniforms and everything just in general. So it's a real great savings, and well done, thank you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 401. Resolution 250150, to approve public assembly permit for the Washingtonville Event Committee, Witchingtonville After Dark event, to be held at McLaughlin Square at Veterans Memorial Lot on Saturday, October 11th, 2025, from 4 p.m. until 10 p.m. Have a motion?
Motion.
Steve, second.
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 401. Resolution 250151, to approve public assembly permit for Washingtonville Events Committee, Witchingtonville Before Dark, event to be held at L. Vernon Park on Sunday, October 12, 2025, from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Have a motion?
Motion.
Steve, second.
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 401, thank you. Resolution 250152, to approve public assembly permit for the Washingtonville Event Committee, Whoville Holiday Market, to be held at Veterans Memorial Lot on Saturday, December 6th, 2025, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Have a motion? Steve, have a second, please. Thank you, Don. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 401. Resolution 250153, to approve public assembly permit for Washingtonville Events Committee Whoville Christmas Celebration, to be held at E.J. McLaughlin Square on Saturday, December 6th, from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Have a motion?
Motion.
Steve, second, please.
Second.
Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 401. Thank you. Resolution 250154, to approve the facility use request form for the Washingtonville Little League games and practices, to be held at Woodfield Park on Monday, Saturday, September 6th until November 15th, 2025, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. or dusk, and Saturday, 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. or dusk. Have a motion, please?
Motion.
A second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 401. Resolution 250155, to approve the revised Planning Board Zoning Board of Appeals application with cover sheet and schedule of fees. Have a motion, please?
That's my motion.
Second.
DJ. Have a second, please?
Second.
Any questions or comments? No questions, comments? Can I have a motion, please, or a vote, please? Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor, please?
Aye.
Aye.
401. Resolution 250156, to authorize the budget transfers and amendments as necessary to effect the necessary transfers of funds to pay village warrants. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 401. And now we could move on to public comment for non-agenda items. If anybody has anything? Yes,
Going back to your announcements there, on the structural people that came to inspect the building, you said that part of it wasn't built according to plan. What plans did they have?
they had some, let's see, what plans did they have? They had the, there's a small, back then it was called, what was it called?
Childcare, teddy bear or something.
Yeah, it was, gosh.
What plans were they missing?
I
It's
guess
changed to
They
this.
had the
They
plan,
had plans.
They just didn't match.
They didn't match what's in there.
So I brought, those are the renderings that I brought
Right.
up there that day, right?
Right.
There were the original renderings. I brought them up to Lam, and apparently when the engineer came in, whatever was on those renderings did not coincide with what was actually built.
What
So
year
now-
was this built?
97?
97.
I'll have to check, I think it was 97.
Dave knows.
Yeah, Dave.
Yeah, talking about the upstairs, when they built this building, that upstairs was only to be used for storage. Because this was supposed to be a gym,
Right.
and then he was gonna put the school up there.
Right.
Right,
That's when the shit hit the fan, let's face it.
yeah.
Everybody got upset about it. But this, that was only designed for storage sections, it was not designed to have anybody living up there or working up there.
I actually just pulled up the email, and it was a third. A third of that upstairs is structurally sound. So right now, we're trying to get a determination on the rest of, and what needs to be done for us to be able to move forward.
So 97 it was built, so who was the building inspector that,
I don't
it
know.
must be, there must be some paperwork with the building inspector, no?
I don't know who the inspector was back in 97. Could have been Clay Gooby, or
No, it was
maybe he left. You had Jeff Dolan. You had the other guy, Mark.
Mark, that's who it
Mark,
was.
I can't remember his last name.
Because he left and fled to
McEwen.
the Carolinas.
McKeon, thank you. Thanks, Brian. So, and the other, we actually then tried to go back out to see if there were any other drawings that were amended or something that would have been changed to be more accurate to what this guy found or did not find in the ceiling. So, that's why we're gonna hit round 2 on this. Okay. You have anything else, Dave?
Not on that, no. I got something else.
Pat?
On the water,
Oh, I'm sorry.
on the water and sewer,
Yes.
why can't you lower that minimum? I use 3,500 gallons, I'm getting charged for 7,000 every time.
Yep.
And it's not so much the water, but now you're charging me that amount on my sewer.
Right.
So I might as well just let the damn water run all summer and let it go down the sewer.
We
You're
are
not charging
looking
for it.
at that,
Yeah,
Dave.
Dave, we are looking at that, and if it's to work, it will implement that with the new budget year.
I got the one
One
old bill
quarter,
here,
there's one
water
quarter
and
to
sewer was
collect.
$76. Now it's 106.
What, you know, and kind of what we're looking at too, or the discussion is, you know, for seniors and 65 and over, to whatever, if you used 100 gallons, you get billed for 100 gallons, right?
Well, now when you, yeah, because now you put this new meter in for somebody to fill the swimming pool and stuff, and that doesn't get charged against the sewer.
Correct.
But I'm getting charged for sewer water that I'm using.
Well, you're getting charged, I mean, if you're using, taking a shower, you're using the water, and that water goes into the sewer plant.
But I'm using only 3,500 gallons and you charge me for 7,000.
I know, and that's the whole thing that we're really just taking a look at, Dave, because we were in the deficit, the rates had to come up to cover the operational costs of the sewer plant and the water plants, and we were there, right? So now, we want to be able to see if we can pull that back, and then potentially for seniors, be able to charge them, again, if you're using 3,000 gallons, you'll pay for the 3,000, not the minimum.
How much-
And take it in that direction.
Oh, I understand. How much did we get, how much did the village collect for selling the water?
Currently, what are you looking for, a total? I
Well-
mean, we're using, Spindler was coming quite a bit, then Spindler was not delivering to the municipality, then TAM was delivering to the municipality. They were here a couple of times, or for a couple of months now. It's kind of tailed off a little bit, I would say. But all in all, between what Spindler was doing, it was in the neighborhood of 300,000 that we collected.
Last month it was
$36,000. So,
Well, that
We're
should
probably,
that
you know,
should
about
show- that should show in the
350.
budget for the
I'm
sewer
sorry?
and water. That should show up in the budget for sewer and water.
well, what we planned on using that for, we had discussions earlier on, but we're still developing the well at High Grove that was never done, right? Remember way back when you had High Grove development and 2 wells were built or dug, but never connected to the water system. And I think you also know, right, that every time we get a Department of Health review, one of the things they always mention in their report is that the village really needs to be looking for another water source. Now, we've looked at connecting potentially to Cornwall. Some of these things are just not feasible, like $14 million. And, you know, in this, when our wells have the water, they're fine and dandy, right? We have the Spindler wells we use as a backup. Between using Spindler, and then we had to crank down our main wells, and we have the fireman's well going, we get almost 3/4 of the water that we would need on a daily basis. Looking at another well, hopefully it would be good enough that it would bring us to exactly where we need to be, what we use on a daily basis, just on our new production wells. But, that company is supposed to be coming out in September to do the well test to see the quality of the water and the gallonage. And we'll see what happens there. But that money, we figured, was kind of found money, and then we would use that money for the development and the engineering of the well. Because that 300,000 will go pretty quickly, because we've been told a well to be developed with all its engineering and design and construction is in the neighborhood of 1.5 to maybe $1.9 million. So,
Well, I know you guys took over, you got a big building, took over, no two words about that.
yeah.
What are we doing to recoup some of that?
Recoup what, I'm sorry, Dave?
What happens with the last 4? What are we doing? Are we doing anything about that? On how they ran the village in the hole?
Well, the audits have been done. There was a separate audit, as you know, but they have not concluded actually on their results, and we have not received a report. And if there was anything going on, I'll use the word as an investigation, we're not being told anything. So all we can tell you is from what you have heard from the audits that we've done, they were inconclusive, lack of documentation, and at best, super poor. Just poor planning, no planning. It wasn't done.
Somebody should be held responsible for that. They took an oath to do something for the village, and they didn't, so they should be held
Yeah.
responsible.
Well,
Okay, how they look at it? I mean, I know you guys got the mess when they hand it to you.
yep,
I'm not saying that.
no, I know.
I think they should be checked, if it's criminal, they should be prosecuted.
Well, if they find something, I'm sure it would happen. I'm sure it would happen if they did. They spent many days here, and we probably spent over $300,000 just on audits to get caught up. It's insanity. We had one firm, as you know, doing the audit. We needed another firm to try to put the puzzle together of what the heck revenue came in, what expenses were paid, because there was zero documentation. It was, you know,
Well, that's why I said, we should go after the people that screwed it up.
yeah. You know, there's lots of words we can use, but I'm not sure if criminal is in that vocabulary unless, again, Controller's Office comes up with something to take some kind of action. And it's up to them, between the Controller's Office and the DA's office or the Attorney General's office, to do something. But, yeah, that's where we are.
Okay.
Okay? Pat?
Yes, Pat Mitchell, 10 York Place. Now, I reviewed the Village of the Washington Village website. So they took they suppressed her pictures for 9/11, which I wanted to look at. And this guy said that she's not in compliance with something one guy, was talking about it and the other one didn't. And I believe that this guy that administrates that Facebook, I have two names here, but one of them is the right name. I don't wanna say the wrong name. The guy that is the administrator, he's suppressing certain things in our Village of Washington Mills website.
Wait, Pat,
Just a weed of
wait,
people.
wait, just to be clear, which, is it our official village web,
No.
No,
village?
it's the Facebook.
Facebook, yes, but we have an official village
Whose
Facebook page,
Facebook is
so
it?
which
The
is
Village
that?
of Washington Mills
The We
Facebook.
the People,
Oh, okay, that's, see,
That's
we have
not
no
us.
control of that.
and the message they gave me was that it's a Facebook glitch and they don't really have control over it, so it's.
I know two of the admins there. One is a gentleman, one is not, one is a woman. And, I mean, but the village, we have no control over that. You know, we have our official village Facebook page, which I'm behind that. You know, if you wanted
But
to
how do we
share it,
end
I
up
would be
getting,
happy to share
how do
it.
we end up getting control, because it's definitely not correct, ethical, and is a problem. I
Did
mean,
you
I'm gonna
reach
go
out to
my
the
IT guy
admins?
and
Do you know
find
who
out.
do you know who the admins are?
What?
Do you know who the administrators are?
I think, is it
Olson?
Ryan
Yes,
Olson?
he is one.
He was
Brian,
very
that's one.
responsible when I reached out and said, I'm waiting 2.5 days for the 9/11 stuff, and he
I'm sure he
apologized.
does.
So
I
I
think-
just
I
have
think
to
he
tell
said he
them if
approved.
something doesn't go up in a timely manner, and I think that they'll fix it. Just speak up.
Well, oftentimes I'm looking at that too, and the same information is there one day, it's gone the next, and then it's gone for a while and comes back again, and it's slightly altered, so what am I supposed to think? I don't trust it one bit, I do not.
That's why we have an official website,
That's
a
right.
Facebook page, so.
Yeah, and if
People
there were
can't post on
pictures
there.
that people wanna post, about 9/11,
No,
just
I'm
need
not
to.
sure, I think that what they were saying is that because the Courier Journal logo is on it, Facebook considers it some kind of an official business that shouldn't, I don't know, some kind of spam. But whatever the reason
I
is,
mean,
as long as I
I will
speak up.
often post on our official village, Facebook page, and I will then share it to a lot of the other, there are 4 other Washingtonville pages. Those go up, and this is a government page. So I don't know, you inbox the admin. There's at least 2 of them.
It's only happened 2 times, so I'll speak up.
Did they answer you? Did you reach
Yes.
out?
First time that I.
Yeah, Brian said
Well, it's funny because he moved, he doesn't live here anymore, but he's still an admin. Oh, he's the one that took Josh's?
Josh is still on
Yeah, I think there are 4 admins on that page.
So,
While we're on Facebook,
Okay.
so a resident on North Street complained about that green fence on North Street there, the building that they're remodeling.
yeah.
That when she's pulling out of her driveway, she can't see. Why does the green mesh have to be in that fence? Why, if the mesh wasn't there, you could see through the fence.
Are we talking about 36 North
I don't know what the
Street?
number is. She
So
just,
the one that's being
and the
renovated.
kids got on her, they called her or whatever. She was upset with the kids, because the kids, she almost hit the kids on a bike,
That went up.
because she
I
can't
think-
see them.
I discussed this once before. That went up quite a while ago. It was supposed to be temporary because
Yeah, I know.
they were shut down.
But why does it need the green, it's a chain link fence. Why did it need the green mesh on the inside of it?
The slacks.
If the mesh wasn't there, she'd be able to see through the chain link fence.
I'll talk to building about it and see if there's a reason. I can't answer why it's there. But if it's a hazard, I've not seen the complaint, so this is the first I'm hearing of it.
You got the same problem with Woodcock and 208. At that light. You gotta,
Oh, that's
you gotta
terrible.
pull out into the road if you wanna make a right-hand turn on
Yep.
there.
Well, that's town property, so we can't.
That's town, I know it's not the village, but that's the same fence, okay, that he's talking about.
What's that?
Anything else, Pat?
No, that's
That was
it.
it? You guys have anything? Sorry.
I'm sorry. So where did you see the original?
It was on Facebook, she got complained on Facebook, more so that the kids, very, very disrespectful,
Yeah.
the kids were. Because she was pulling out, they were coming down with the bike, she almost hit them. She stopped, she said, well, I can't see you, and they, went into their,
Do you know who the person was? Who was going?
It's,
Or was it Denny?
Denny.
the house right next to the green fence.
Oh, she lives right next door.
Yeah, it's next door, it's Denny.
All right, okay. All right, thank you.
They have no control.
Yes,
Clarification on the paving on North,
yes.
is that just gonna be the drainage that's being worked on, or is it gonna be all of North?
All red, I'm sorry?
All of North?
All of North,
It'll be all of North
Yes.
that's being paved? Awesome.
yes.
Up to Taft, right?
Yeah, up to Taft, because that's where the drainage stops up there.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? How about the Jets? I'm sorry.
Oh,
I didn't want to say Giants, because that was another,
Don't even go there.
well, my Bills did pretty good.
Yeah, those.
You got the right team. All right.
Army did better.
Army, they did all right, good.
Army's got a good team this year.
Happy birthday. Okay, yes,
On the road again, on Ahern, any plans in the near future to get Ahern, paved from, north to Woodfield?
well, from North Street to Woodfield, oh, that section, I'm sorry. Yeah, going the other way, yeah.
That one only hit,
Yeah, I'd have to go back and, because what we tried to do is we took all the roads and we tried to grade them, from kind of worst to, if there's something even close to best. And, we're trying to evaluate that now. I know that there's some cracks in there, some separations at the curbs. The problem is funding. Just to touch that, there was a number of years that there was just not a lot of stuff done. So we're in a big catch-up mode. And, the money we get from the state is for, they call it CHIPS, which is kind of they call it highway money. It's, they do drainage, but at the end of the day, for this village, we have 200 square miles, maybe 200 square miles and between 10 and 13 miles of roads. They give us $86,000 a year. You really can't do too much with $86,000. So, the money that we're doing North Street, we had to go in bond because we know the drainage needed to get done because it was in very poor condition, and we didn't want to spend several hundreds of thousands in paving. And, then somewhere down the road, 10, 15 years, you're gonna have problems and have to redo it. So we bit the bullet, but we had to borrow $820,000 to basically get that done. We have a little bit of a buffer, and some of the extra money that we have that we budget anyway, which is about $100,000, and then we had $80,000 in that CHIPS money, so we're able to take care of Bristol Court and Potomac, and they were in their courts, and generally you look at them as being last, but they are so bad that in Potomac, if you went up that little cul-de-sac, you'd be driving on dirt, and it's hard to believe that an area had been just deteriorated, and you're basically a gravel, and you can kick the dirt, and this is bad news.
Are the number of residents in that court, considered, versus the number of residents that pass different roads that may be in a grading system?
Well, those roads came back very bad, right? So we wanted to, even though they're just cul-de-sacs, we want to take care of it because we're limited funds. We can do one long road like we ended up doing Ahern from North Street to Washington, right? And that was CHIPS money that had been sitting in the account for cumulative years. So we were able to take that money and do the project. The reason they weren't using the money was because the way CHIPS work and everything in New York State government is if you get a grant, you gotta use your own money first. And then once you're done, and you prove that everything is what it needs to be, then they give you the money back in a certain amount of time. So previous administration never had that money available to use, so the CHIPS money just kept building and building. So we were able to take that, once we had some money, we ended up putting that money right into that area, which was horrible too, very bad.
Yeah, just thinking about how many of the residents are impacted, you know, the traffic flow, if there's, you know, not to say anyone's least important, but if you have
Yeah,
5 families versus all the traffic that goes on
Yeah.
to, you know, on that little strip there,
Yeah.
everybody going into Woodfield, all the families going into Woodfield, the park, and
Right.
everybody going into High Grove. I mean, it seems like a bigger impact to the residents as
Yeah.
they drive in there versus 5, 6 families.
Right. The way I kinda look at it too is, I look at like primary roads, and I'll call it like a secondary road, right? So my primary road, if it had to be 94, we're not responsible for 94, but North Street is a primary road, that's our road. And that takes thousands of people a day, I mean, ridiculous amount of people. But your secondary road would be Ahern, then you got, you know, Somerset and Newcastle Drive, those are my secondaries, and then tertiary is kind of smaller stubs, dead ends, cul-de-sacs. And there's different processes that we're looking at. You know, there might be a road that's like not bad, rated a 3, and we might be able to what they call micro seal it. There's different processes, so the macadam is good, you might have some small cracks, but then you can put this thin product on it that can give you another 15 years. And that's, you know, rather than everything being milled and paved, which is a tremendous bill at the end of the day. So we're trying to balance it that way.
It's the underground too.
And I appreciate your questions and comments, but would you mind just for the record, because we need it for the minutes, name and address?
Oh, sure, Yomira Sanchez, 5 Hopkins.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you guys.
So, and I just want to explain further too, because I work with the DPW on their liaison. Part of what we have to tackle is the infrastructure under the roads. So this village was mostly built up, starting in the early 1990s to where you see it today. The early 1990s, just like North Street, a lot of that piping underneath is metal. So you could take a $160,000 project of just milling and paving it, and now you have a $400,000 project, because everything has to get dug up just like North Street, the curbs. We're running into problems with mains not being marked correctly, like Tom said, that loop was closed off. Just to try and repair that one valve, you're talking about almost $17,000. So if we can tackle a main road where we can get some of that money back to New York State funding, we want to take that because we budgeted for some of these repairs and not ignore the little ones. Otherwise, we're going to have these little ones that are going to be 3 times the cost they are now because of the lack of maintenance. So it is a fine line to balance, and I get you about going down, you know, Ahern. It's like how many balls can we have in the air at the same time? You're never going to have all of them up there and be able to catch them all.
Thank you guys. Anyone else? Alrighty. Could I have a motion to go into executive session for personnel issues?
Motion for
A
executive.
second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, everybody, for coming this evening.
No decisions will be made.
Have a great evening.
You know that, you know,